Cardone, that's not nice. No, that fucking racist guy that was on here. What was his name? Fred Cardano.
Fred Ramey. Fred Ramey.
Yeah, him and Funes are cell buddies right now.
When did Fred Ramey go back to jail?
I don't know. I'm just gonna make an assumption with that guy that he's probably still back in jail.
He totally rebranded himself again.
He's probably on a mess.
What a fucking fed. That is a fed if I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a fed. Everyone already knows that.
So go to adriandittman.com right now to come to the realization that Elon Musk every night is going live in the same way that people come on Clubhouse and act the fool 7 days a week. His name is Elon Musk. He's the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, aka Adrian Dittman. Go to adriandittman.com right now for more.
Wait, Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk?
That's right. 1 + 1 = 2.
Yes, but you must watch every video in the link so that you can discover that. You have to watch them all for full length.
Correct. And actually, one of my recent videos is Elon Musk talking about Nick Fuentes getting a blowjob.
Awesome.
Here's our Nick Fuentes doppelganger.
Good one, Danny. Everything Danny says is good.
We should put that in the book.
So, welcome to Adrian Dittman, colon praxeologist.
Hey,
can I get rich just being a bigot?
No.
Yeah, you in fact can.
Can I
open my butt cheeks so wide open?
Let's go. Hey, Bussy.
Let's go.
We don't do respect, can't come. And reserve the balance of my time. We don't do respect, can't come.
Who's that?
So Sean King, the greatest black passing.
Girl, don't yell in your fucking mic.
He said that Bashar was murdered, but really they said the radar disappeared because maybe they didn't want him to be murdered.
Yeah, he's probably going to live in exile in Russia, right?
Assad is not dead, by the way.
Oh, he's not?
No. He fled to Russia.
Who do you
For
think?
his family, so he's alive.
I thought he was already in Russia when that plane was down.
Who do you think his tailor
I don't
is?
know.
Does he wear Versace?
Ow!
He's got a good suit. That is real.
Look at Rick's PTR. That guy, that comedian who does those big booty YouTube videos, Hernandez, or what is his name?
Do you even know him?
Yeah, he's a YouTube
That's
producer.
disgusting booty.
It's very
When
funny.
I went to school, I had this teacher that taught menswear, and he got all his knowledge from working at a place called Corvette, Korean Veterans. I don't know, I guess it was some department store. And there's a picture of O.J. Simpson wearing a suit with 3 buttons, and the guy, the teacher, was like, oh, that must be a cheap suit. It has 3 buttons on the sleeve, not 4 buttons. I'm like, have you ever heard of Brioni, you fucking idiot, right?
Have you ever heard of Bijan?
Like the dog, free.
No.
Bijan Frise.
No, it's a store.
Those fluffy ones that get allergies.
No,
Bijan means bitch.
no, it's a store on Rodeo Drive. It's called Bijan, and it's like it's by appointment only, and it's a pretty big store, but it's a Persian guy who started it, and it's just like this incredible clothing store where they do custom suits and stuff. It's on Rodeo. I think it's called Bijan. Let me look it up again. But they park like.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been in it. I've been on Rodeo Drive a couple times, but they always park like a red Rolls Royce outside the store. You know, it's an iconic clothing store. Let me see. I think it's called Bijan. No, maybe I'm wrong. House of Bijan, yeah. 443 North Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills, 90210. Bijan.com.
So you're cosplaying as Rick. That's not even Rick.
Yes, it is.
So Rick is cosplaying as Bussy?
No, Rick is Rick. Pussy's Pussy, and that's Rick.
That's not Rick.
Yeah, it is.
I think Rick has more friends than that.
Rick
He has
is
multiple accounts, dumbass.
Yeah, to stream.
Oh, you're being messy, Donnie. You're a very messy little girl.
Okay, I don't want to draw on the lines.
Let's go. Apparently, Joe Biden has woken up from his nap. He will give us an address on Syria.
Wow. It's going to be this is the thing, is that those fighters, one of them was from Sadr City, and he was put in a U.S. jail, released, and he is the one who led this, incursion in Aleppo and all that. He's an American jihadist. Isn't that crazy? That was, I think, in New York Times. I don't know if it's real or not, but this whole thing is orchestrated by CIA. And so we just sit there and pretend like we're just silent observers. But, everything that Biden is about to say is just communication hypnosis. The real truth is, this is the same shit that Obama and Hillary Clinton were doing with the Saudis. And this is the thing, when Trump says, I took out ISIS, I killed ISIS, we destroyed them completely. Really? Really? I doubt it. I bet you they lined all those cars up on the highway, just burned them all.
But this is.
Are they all just Masons?
No,
Like the
no.
daughters of ISIS?
No, they're just.
Are we sure?
It is Western ISIS, but Eastern jihadists. It's the pairing of Western
Like
intelligence.
6 different rebel groups, and that's like what's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're called HTS now. They're the former remnants of ISIS, Al Qaeda, a little bit of Hezbollah that came from Lebanon.
What are they called? HTS?
HTS, that's their group.
What's the acronym
Well,
stand
Sounds
for?
like a disease.
Wait,
Do they like Pentagon a lot?
Playing this.
What was that?
Do they really have Hezbollah fighters then?
In,
Yeah, I mean,
in
they traded
Syria?
out a little bit sometimes.
In
They
Syria,
even
yeah.
had Iranians that were there, but they were fighting against them, not for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like they hate Iranians and they hate Hezbollah.
Well, that might be what I've mistaken there. When I read about Hezbollah fighters being there, it may be that they were fighting
No,
Hezbollah.
so they had Hezbollah fighters in Syria that fled because they I think Israel probably cut them off or something.
So do you think Israel is going to move in because they massed the tanks on the border? That can't just be a defensive posture. A good defense is a good offense. Danny, can you say wait, hold on. Danny, can you please say to the room, a good offense is a good defense?
Defense.
That,
Defense.
that's a Dannyism. That's going in the book. Hi, Jane. Welcome to the room. Laila Tov, Shavua Tov, L'chaim, and Mazel Tov.
So are more Syrians gonna go to Lesbos now and become lesbians?
That's what Donnie thinks the same.
That is. That's a mythology, Danny. You don't have to go there to become a dyke. You can be a dyke right now.
She is. Last night she opened up her vagina for me.
Oh my god. No, I didn't.
Damn, you are a butch lesbian,
Fucking
Abby.
bad.
Abby, you do come off as very lesbian.
Why else do you think Diogenes likes me?
You think Diogenes is attracted to you?
Yes.
And you see, you are delusional. You are a lot like your PTR, actually. You're an angry lesbian. So again, welcome everybody. This is Adrian Dittman, CEO of X, SpaceX, Tesla, X Brand Group. I've given $250 million to help get Donald Trump into office. I'm at Mar-a-Lago right now with my son, X. He's on my shoulders, and we're going to go lay out at the pool while I come on X Spaces and talk about how fucked up culture is. This is Adrian Dittman, aka Elon Musk. God bless everyone. Also, I'm from East Germany, and you fucks don't even know what socialism is like unless you have fucking family from Eastern Germany. We don't do respect. We don't do respect.
No, it's not.
What are you singing?
No, it's
Well, your
not.
audio, it's low. It's very low. Because I'm talking low.
Please, Abby, if he uses the N-word or F-word again, I want you to kick this guy. You can't let him ruin hours worth of work on my live stream. All right? Just can't let him do it.
They tried to say that they said I killed the CEO, but I think it was you.
Shut up, Danny. You fucking stupid ass bitch.
Go be annoying in the Jewish room, you fucking bitch.
Yeah, go over there. Go look for a fucking shekel.
Yeah, go look for a dick that satisfies you for once.
Yeah.
It almost did this morning, but look.
Oh my god.
Don't let Adrian's comment.
Yeah, go
Oh, damn. Abby didn't like the fact that Danny's getting dick. Damn.
No, I hope she gets dick. I wish she got dick. That's all. I will pay for it, honestly.
But see, that's the
$50.
projection, is you should be having a love life. You should be dating. Life isn't all about getting
I'm not the one
a
talking
PhD.
about-
Listen, doctor, you barely knew about Pavlovian dog drool testing, okay?
You also go to the audience. A little timeout can't hurt anyone, you know? Anyway, how are you guys? How's your Sunday morning going?
The fuck? That's the most bipolar shit you ever said. What did I miss?
Nothing.
Who's calling me?
Ellie, I guess.
Someone just called me right now.
Yo, I got the other day a phone call from Iran when I was fighting with Nora. Literally after Nora left, somebody from Iran called me.
It's part of my side.
Yeah, exactly. My friend was like,
So the New Testament reveals what the Old Testament was concealed in the Old Testament.
But I just stayed in the audience.
Adrian, come up.
It's
Right. That's
You know, these people who like brag about how many boosters they have, it makes me sick to my stomach.
These people are victims, and it makes you sick to your stomach?
Yeah, I mean, abortion victims are victims, but it still makes me sick to my stomach. Exactly.
I'm just saying, I'm triple boosted, and I've never felt better because I've never, ever gotten COVID-19.
to get COVID to get tested for it.
That's right, and they're not false positives.
The advice I got from my doctor friend, that's exactly what he said. You can't get COVID if you don't get tested.
Yeah, it's true. They still sell these Binax tests at everywhere, and it's like you have millions of people addicted to testing themselves for an imaginary virus. Meanwhile, they're spreading chemicals in their nostrils, and they're saying, "Oh, my nose is really hurting. Something's going on with my nose." Oh, that's because you're addicted to fucking testing yourself for an imaginary fucking mainstream media lie, you sick fucks.
Is it snowing up there yet, Adrian? We're on the depth of
No.
winter?
No, yesterday it was like 46. Today it's sunny and something out. I haven't been outside yet, but it's fucking great.
Oh, sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I'm about to go to the gym. There's this thing called the
Have you ever heard
gym.
that if we had 13 months instead of 12, there would be exactly 28 days on every month, and it would be like all perfect and harmonious. The theory is that there used to be 13 months in a year. You ever heard this?
No, I
theory?
don't. I've never heard that theory. I mean, isn't the whole calendar based on like a Julian calendar? And what's the other dominant calendar? Well, anyways, the moon was beautiful last night. So if any of you care, go to adriandittman.com, and I can prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk, and Adrian Dittman is his pen name on X. And if you want to see Adrian Dittman live 7 nights a week, 5 nights a week, he comes on, basically he goes on Clubhouse, and he just sits there and he burps and he farts and he sharpens his steak knives and he cuts up a steak, and he sits there and he talks about feminism. He talks about communism. He talks about socialism, capitalism, being an industrialist, how much he hated Eastern Germany. And you can go to adriandittman.com to see more. Because Elon Musk is German. His family came out of this former Soviet bloc. He hates the communists. You have no fucking idea, man, what it was like to live in Eastern fucking Germany. Don't fucking tell me about communism until you know something about East Germany. And my fucking ancestors came from East Germany. So don't fucking tell me what it's like to live under communism. My fucking family knows. This is Adrian Dittman. I am complete.
Does anyone know, speaking of the days of the week in the calendar, why Saturday, like who Saturday was named after?
Yeah, Saturn.
And what about Saturn worship? Have you heard of the cube? The black cube?
The black cube.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me. No way. Who was two, bro?
Oh yeah. I think Rajaratnam said, look up tefillin. We looked up tefillin, and it was this cube on the forehead.
No, it's more than that. The Qibla, or in Mecca, that is a giant black cube as well. So
yeah.
So it's common amongst Judaism. Really, I think it's the Abrahamic faiths that ascribe the black cube as being an occult reference. I think it just means the universe, because it's basically the representation of a three-dimensional object. And that's what I've read, in occult books, that the black rock, the black cube, is viewed as being like cosmic consciousness.
What's the black cube in Christianity?
Christ consciousness would be the black cube.
And I cube unfolds into a cross.
That is true.
That's probably just coinky dink.
No, when you put a center point in the middle of a cube and you go horizontally and vertically, you get a cross. But the cross also represents man and woman. So the vertical is the man, the phallus, the lateral, the horizontal is a woman laying down. And so it's not blasphemous to say that Christ transcendentally, became God and at the right hand, the throne of God the Father, something to that extent. So just saying that Jesus is not trans, but through transcendental meditation, there's another story in the Bible where, I don't know, he went to pray or something, and then it's called like the transcendental passages or something, where he went up, we saw Ezekiel and Moses, something like that. So there's something about a transcendental state of mind, which is basically like getting stoned and reading the Bible, and like the all-seeing eye. It's the illumination. It's really the universe, because it's infinity is what you're talking about, eternity. That's what the black rock has to represent, infinity and eternity.
It's an asteroid. It's a meteor. Yes, let's not get into man-made superstition.
Yeah, but if it's a meteorite, it's still just a symbol for the universe then.
Religion was created by governments to control the population.
It doesn't make a difference. You can liberate yourself from the government, even from the occult itself, by just knowing what the secret symbols mean. If you know what occult symbolism is, you know essentially hieroglyphics. And if you know hieroglyphics, you know how marketing works. This is basically communication theory. It's an ancient scientific way at looking at modern marketing. All major brands, every television network, the peacock, that is an occult symbol. The all-seeing eye of CBS, that is an occult symbol. Even ABC, that acronym is an occult symbol. So all your mainstream media networks are essentially operating off of if you want to be really critical, you could call it a Luciferian hieroglyphic system. ABC is abracadabra. It's all based off of magic, theory of magic, or what they used to call science, which is, hieroglyphic occult religious esoteric study.
All right.
But the proof is in the pudding, and I just gave you 3 good examples of occult reference in mainstream media. ABC, CBS, NBC, they all use occult reference in their branding, and their logos are logos.
Well, and the dollar bill, right? I mean, the dollar bill's a good one.
Yeah,
that might have the most occult symbolism on one single object.
the biggest statement on your dollar is "In God We Trust," or it's called "Trust God," or a God trust. So the United States of America was founded on a trust from God, or a God trust. I think that's the best way to look at your dollar. That if you're really a hardcore Bitcoin maximalist and you don't have faith in the dollar, you don't understand the fact that it's a God trust. And so a lot of these Bitcoiners are just atheist, evolutionary enthusiasts who are they're really nothing more than fascists or socialists or communists. But the fact of the matter is your dollar is a God trust, and you should have faith in it. But you shouldn't trust the Federal Reserve, but we should trust the United States Treasury with our dollars.
The petrodollar is the same.
It's a do bill, a dollars. That's really how you say dollars, dollars.
What's Lars?
The Isle dollar game is being played. Again, it's being played again. The Isle dollar game.
What's
When it's gonna end?
Listen, there is a monopoly on dollars because in 1910, you could go to your local bank and they would print up dollars with the name of your town, with the name of the bank president. They would sign it. There was a double ledger. Yeah, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Don't forget, 80 hours a week. If you're not doing 80 hours a week of freeing Palestine on this app, you're not doing the work of God, okay? From the river to the sea, my people will be free. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Can I get a free Palestine?
Free Palestine. You ate that.
Assalamu alaikum, free Palestine.
It's Philistines. You need to use the correct nomenclature.
They're from Philadelphia? They're from Philly?
I think that the Canaanites need to come back and like have a revolution. You know, I mean, there was. Yeah, where are the Canaanites at? Where are my Canaanites at?
They're getting caned.
They're drinking milk and honey.
The Muslims are caning them. That's the modern day Canaanites.
Also, when is someone going to make a good movie about King Solomon? Because there's only 2 series or films that I've seen on King Solomon, and none of them talk about this occult magic that King Solomon wielded. He was a controller of genies and demons and the magical shamir. Who knows about the shamir? Because this thing is really cool, the shamir.
No, that's Yiddish for shmira matzah.
Actually, my Jewish Orthodox friend and I, we were talking about it, and he was like, bagels and shamir. But there's some cool companies called shamir, like an optical company, because it's like, no, for real though, do you know about what the shamir is?
No.
It's freaking, dude, it's a magical worm that, because King Solomon, they're not allowed to, you know, use their hands and stuff or whatever when they're building the temple. So they had to employ this magical worm, and there was some like bird or something that they flew the bird with the magic, and yeah, it's pretty cool. The shamir.
Well, the movie Dune, you know, they have the sandworms, and they milk those sandworms, and they get that blue juice, and then it gives them the blue eyes, and it gives them the voice and the power. It's like the Holy Spirit. So the creator of Dune, the creator of Dune took all the world's religions and all the weird esoteric little tidbits and made the movie Dune. That's how he did it. It's all in Dune.
I think that's a good point. I'm not a Dune buff, but I think that's a good point. I think the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of people on this app that have religious conversations and stuff, and like this is like in their original foundational text, and you know, like it's not a movie or like it's not a sci-fi thing. It's like, you know, people like, you know. I don't know, because I was talking to like last night. It's like, how many people actually follow the religion? Is it is it like 10%, 20%? Like really, truthfully, it's probably less than 20%. Like anyone that says who do you think follows the religion more closely? For the Abrahamic ones, do you think?
As an American, though, my faith is in the Constitution, and it's Yeah, I mean, constitution is basically constant intuition. That's really what a constitution is. It's constant intuition. But all these religions have to be at the back burner compared to our Constitution and our Declaration.
Well, they knew that too. They were deists.
Exactly. And it's a very simple document. And that's why you know that our founders meant business. It's not some lengthy treatise. It's very clear and concise. And it's very explicit. It's not implicit. It's explicit content. The Second Amendment and the First Amendment are declarative statements. They're all or nothing statements. It's very hard to make an all or nothing statement and have it hold truth and have it be a constant intuition. So don't get confused. And that's what the problem with a lot of people on this app is, that they're mentally deranged because they are outside the boundaries of our constant intuition, our Constitution.
And we must have compassion and empathy for them. But who are your top 3 founding fathers? Who are your top 3?
I mean, George, Sam, and John.
Bro, TJ, man. Come on, TJ and BF, man.
Yeah, TJ's tops.
TJ's tops, dog. And BF, man, he a player.
Yeah, they are some real gangsters, aren't they? Like real OGs. Like real unique people.
For real. Yeah, well, so they just came out with the Ben Franklin series, but they had Michael Douglas play, and he's got like this Brooklyn accent playing Benjamin Franklin, and it's like, I mean, I guess I like Michael Douglas, but I feel like they should have got a no-name actor for that. I couldn't get through like the 3rd or 4th episode, but yeah, Benjamin Franklin, major badass, super cool dude.
Kirk Douglas was a badass too. Like that Spartacus, everything Kirk Douglas did was just, that was the golden age of America, where on the screen they brought to life real character, real ethic, real virtue, real courage, real strength. Now everything is essentially toxic and gay.
I'll have to go back and watch Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus! No! I'm Spartacus! And that's the director of Spartacus, one of the most famous directors of all time. He did Eyes Wide Shut. What's that guy's name? Kubrick.
I didn't know he did Spartacus.
Yeah, that was one of his first films after Paths to Glory, which was another Kirk Douglas film where he went up against a ridiculous World War I French general who just was willy-nilly sacrificing tens of thousands of troops needlessly.
Speaking of esoteric stuff, I heard Kubrick implanted like tons of symbols and little Easter eggs in his movies. I heard that was a thing for him. And then the whole thing with the Eyes Wide Shut. Supposedly, he was like, there's a lot of controversy whether or not he was like taken out after that film.
Well, the whole moon landing propaganda, that won the Cold War, that made the world think we actually set foot on the moon, played golf, and drove a fucking car around on that fucking dusty old dust ball. Do you think that those recordings, whether they're real or not, like some of them were produced in a British production studio that, where they're jumping around and stuff? Like, do you think Kubrick and the British were involved in that intelligent, propaganda? Because that's the way I view it. Now, you see other videos and you're like, this is the whole Joe Rogan thing where I think I've heard Joe Rogan say that the early videos were fakes, but later videos were real. And I'm just like, how could that be? How could you go from putting out fakes to actually achieving this momentous scientific and courageous endeavor of setting foot on the moon? I mean, I still doubt that we actually went to the moon. I view it more as like a Soviet USA propaganda event, and that Nixon was involved in producing through CBS, NBC, ABC, fake lunar landing shit. And it was a giant psyop.
I think I remember having this conversation with you maybe a few weeks ago, or maybe it was a month or two ago. Time's fluid, but and I'm not like the best at keeping track at it. But I was born in the early '80s, and I just don't think the moon landing was as big of a deal. Either way, the way at this point, there's so much other propaganda out there. Like, is that a big one potentially? But we can get to the moon now, right? Like, right? We can get to the moon now. Are we in consensus that we can make it to the moon today?
Well, I don't know how.
Johnny, did you just say you don't know how?
No.
Are you for real, dog?
I mean, like, the broad strokes. You build a big rocket, you fire it towards the moon. But, there's a lot of detail. How do you build the rocket?
Yeah, but what about when you approach the moon? How the fuck do you land on it? How did they disembark a car, drive around a car, play golf, get back in their little lunar ship, get back off the surface, get back into the mothership, and fly back to the U.S. and land in the Pacific, and then go on the Johnny Carson show with Nixon in a decontamination box? The whole thing reeks of production propaganda.
So one of the main questions I have is, don't really care enough to look into itself, like fuel, right? I didn't see a big rocket on the moon. I'm sure they had some like clever way of doing it or something. You can run the numbers, see how much fuel you need to be able to lift from air, and then decelerate, and then go all the way back. I'm sure it's doable.
Let alone they were beaming back to the Earth live video transmission saying one giant step for mankind, one giant step for NASA and big government. Come on. I think you got to wake up and know that it's a big percentage chance that we never set foot on that fucking moon and played
Do
golf.
you think they'll ever release, if that's, let's say it's true, do you think that we'll ever, like, do you think it's possible to release that in the next, like, 10, 20 years?
Maybe if Russia completely falls and everybody forgot that, you know, Russia even existed. I mean, this is still like a state secret. I don't think it'll ever come out. There are state secrets. I think 9/11 is a state secret. I think COVID-19 is a state secret. The lunar landing is a state secret. The Kennedy assassination is a state secret.
What's the state secret?
A state secret is basically a major incident and the exact opposite, or the narrative that put out is totally fake. So like the Romans had state secrets because in Marcus Aurelius's Epictetus, or in Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, he says, you know, my grandfather was a great man. He never lied, and he contained, you know, many state secrets that he never spoke about. So there's just certain things, horrific events, really propaganda events by the government. I think those are really the state secrets. For example, the prosecution of Donald Trump. If Kamala Harris would have won, all the Russiagate, all the lies, all the propaganda, you could label it all as a state secret.
Sexual identity of Barack Obama's wife, or the French or German chancellor's wife. These would also fall under the state secrets.
Yeah. Can't have the things
Obama is definitely a concealer of state secrets. And, you know, he was brought to power by John Brennan, by the Crown family. And, you know, he was doing crack in Gurney with a male prostitute. That's another state secret. But guess what? That gay guy who smoked crack and sucked Obama's dick was on Tucker Carlson. Some people will say that's a lie. That's fake news. That's propaganda. But if you don't have gaydar, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But Obama is definitely a sycophant. He's an evil person, and he could be tied up into a secret satanic Luciferian occult.
Well, this is probably why they didn't like Assad. If you look at him and his family, they're photogenic, picturesque, they're attractive.
I mean, all you have to know is a person's character is based on the company they keep, and there are many photos of Obama with Diddy. I mean, there's photos of Trump with Diddy. You know, is the United States tied up into some type of a secret satanic occult, you know, maybe decentralized occult pedo trafficking network or something? I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that, you know, that these things are happening, maybe not at scale as some people say, but there's, you know, the whole Tom Hanks, the volleyball with the red hand, and Ellen going to London. There's a lot of people that probably have a lot of sin on their hands that are trying to evade justice. I don't know, X is just full of this stuff with the child trafficking networks. Even I saw something about Hunter Biden's back tattoo. People believe that there's these underground facilities. You know, that to me goes a little too far. But at this point, I would just say, like, proof is in the pudding. I mean, show me some real evidence. It's the same thing with UFO people. It's like, show me some real evidence. Show me something that I can believe. I mean, at this point, I've never seen a miracle. I've never seen a fucking alien or UFO. I've never seen some underground fucking pizza parlor dungeon chambers with a bunch of Democrats, you know, drinking adrenochrome. Show me some real proof. Show me some arrests and convictions.
Arrests and convictions cannot be the bar because they're protected, like Mr. Elephantis. So,
well,
you're not going to get, you know.
Did you see that judge?
Programs.
You might be right. Did you see that judge who got executed by that? I don't know if it was a sheriff or who killed him, but he was using his office as a sex ring, blackmailing ring, where he would get you off of charges if you screwed him. And some other guy came in and blew him away. But I heard that the guy who shot him was also involved in the sexual abuse. I don't know what the whole situation there is, but you would like to think that the guy that killed him was like, you know,
supposedly the father of the victim.
Right, but I read something else that he was like the sheriff or something, and he was not reporting. He knew that these sexual things were happening, and he didn't report. I don't know if my memory is accurate, but. So what did you think about Trump meeting with Macron and Prince, Harry Philip or whatever the fuck his name is?
Superb. Great symbolism, showing the upper hand.
Isn't it funny how Macron is fighting him with the handshake fists, for dominance, and Trump is just he's so good at doing his handshake. He's been doing that handshake his whole life, I bet.
I liked how all the leaders stood up respectfully, and he left in a nice motorcade, and they shoved Zelensky into a Honda Civic.
What do you think about Zelensky continuing to wear sweatpants and a sweatshirt? When is he gonna fucking drop it and wear a suit? And what kind of personal responsibility does he have in all this? He's not respected, right? The war fighters probably don't respect him. I don't know. Do you know what his approval rating is in the country?
They were talking about exiling him, making a deal, because exile of him to London would be part of any deal. 20% is what Gene was saying. Gene on here. And he's in the no chance of winning an election.
So he'll be a Ukrainian oligarch?
You've given him the most amount of money. You take him. We don't want to make that.
He'll be a Ukrainian oligarch living in exile in London.
He already has an apartment there. Quite nice.
I'm sure he's got some in the market. Especially with those billions you've given him.
Couple quick questions. It's very clear that Ukraine will never win the war, right?
No, not a chance.
Right, exactly. Yeah, okay, cool. So, that's clear. So, but then, of course, if you're in America, you see a lot of these Ukrainian flag things flying all over. So, but they're encouraging, what would you say, slaughter or something? It's really wild, yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of a total mind-bending thing, because they're never going to win. So if they're never going to win, then they're just killing innocent people, or I guess maybe they're not innocent, but they're a lot of their population.
No, they got to defend. They have to maintain what they've got. This is tribal warfare, in 50 BC. This is winner take all. Ukraine could get consumed by Russia. That's the thing about war. Look at Syria. Overnight, 24 hours, 48 hours, a regime falls. That is an earth-shattering historical event that this could happen in Ukraine. Putin could be devious. He might, pull a double take. He could lie. He could, you never know. This is his legacy. I don't get the feeling that he's a backstabber, but, in war, the Prince, Machiavelli, all this shit, Trump seems to bring about goodwill. People like Morel said, the world leaders stood up and shook his hand because they respect his courage. They respected his fortitude. He's already been a president, and he's not a bad guy, turns out. He's kind of nice, and people like to deal with him. He seems to bring people to the bargaining table because that is his persona, his brand, his logo. He's a real estate developer, a deal maker, meeting of the mind.
Yeah, what a clear deal. He would have said, Russia, you give up on protecting Syria, and you can keep Crimea. The deal done. And Donbass or whatever other. Would seem like a reasonable deal.
Yeah, this is a great tragedy. It needs to stop. And unfortunately, the United States, with our military-industrial complex, our LGBTQ contractors at the government contracting agency, all this bullshit. It's all about money and fleecing the American taxpayer. In Chicago, where I live, our mayor is trying to fleece us with, hundreds of millions in new property taxes, speeding tickets. Any way these fucking communist rats can try to make money, they will do. There's nothing to stop these rats.
What do you think about Palantir, Adrian? What do you think about them?
I think what's the elite homosexual's name?
Alex Carp.
No, what's the elite homosexual's name who started Palantir? PayPal.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah, Peter Thiel. Say what you want, but Trump is in power. That means Peter Thiel is in power. Elon Musk is in power. Many billionaires are in power now because of Donald Trump. And Palantir is one of those types of software corporations which are really just, intelligence spy networks. It's a massive database. It's like the Google of the deep state. And, you can use that to target international criminal terrorist organizations, or you can use that to target political opponents, or you can use it to target your average taxpayer, which they're fleecing and drinking like vampire parasites. Our government is drinking the blood of its citizens and sending your blood overseas and killing you. They're killing you with big taxes, foreign spending, regime change operations, fake vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, J&J. We've been blackmailed for 4 years, 5 years. The COVID-19 vaccine is the biggest scam and biggest attack on our liberties in American history. It is a mass depopulation event to sterilize us. And, thank God Donald Trump won. Jesus Christ must have intervened on Election Day.
So, yeah, co-founder Peter Thiel, but what about Alex Karp? You know anything about him? He's the other co-founder. I think there might be three, but
no, I don't know about
If I may just interject really quickly, I believe God intervened. Anyway, continue.
I know, I just like being really facetious.
wait, define facetious for me. I forget which one that is. I always confuse that one.
I don't know, it's like dry humor, kind of.
Okay. But they are upfront with their, like, I mean, yeah, because Peter's on the back burner with that. I mean, Alex is the, you know, the front forward-facing dude, and I think he's pretty in charge of it. But you know, he says some interesting things. Yeah. I forget Morel. I'm sorry, I forget your name. But yeah, have you been following Karp and Palantir? What do you think?
Yeah, he's came out guns blazing with some statements about American ingenuity and being at the front of the military, giving them the pain, making the enemies in pain.
And are you pro, con, or neutral on that stance, or?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Since we're asking Morel questions, what do you think of the Kash Patel thing, the hire?
It's the greatest news of all of the announcements.
The greatest news.
Wow. Of course, he got a standing ovation. Wait, there's the most enjoyment and excitement over that than any other pick. Can you explain?
I don't know. I was watching the Jon Stewart Ego show, and he there is definitely a lot of people who are not liking it in America. So.
Yeah, but we're not worried about what Democrats think. It's about what power and party. You know, what was Jon Stewart? What's the Jon Stewart take-home message of why it's a bad choice?
Just like he mentioned the book he wrote, The King and I, or whatever that was. Like basically the children's book about Donald Trump and how is this guy an authority when he thinks this way, kind of thing. Basically calling Kash Patel someone who is dangerous. You know, that rhetoric.
But did he actually look at his CV?
It's hard to make
Please, both of you at the same. Can you repeat the same thing at the same time, please? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. But I'm saying, did he actually have anything? Did he look at his CV and actually come up with anything other than, he wrote a book about some shit that's got nothing to do with his expertise, and so I'm going to determine his credentials. No, but I'm saying, So there was nothing. There was actually nothing substantial about his critique.
I'm telling you, this is like Democrat agenda saying we don't want this. They're woke, right? But they don't want this brown guy. We'd rather have Cal Penn to run the FBI. Whatever it is, dude. And it costs. It's all agenda based. It's going to be the same thing in the United States forever. Who is the leader who is going to unite the United States? Show me that person.
There's no rule we have to unite, by the way. There's no, all of a sudden, the left is calling to unite. There's no rule. It's not how life goes.
I'm not saying it's a rule. I'm saying I would love Eftel. I would love
It's
to
a
see.
reactionary movement. They have to right the wrongs that was done by the other side. You can't do that by Kumbaya. Let's be friends. You know, they fight on the president. No, they fight on big. They fight Reagan into the president the first time around.
Forget Kumbaya. There is a huge opportunity for any communication strategist in the United States to say, listen, we can claim the united front and not do it left, not do it right.
They already did that.
Like just you.
They already did that. That's what RFK and Tulsi is about. That's why those people are there.
No. You can't, because there's too many interests. Like, no one wants to unite. They don't want to come together. If they unite under the they unite under a Republican flag.
Why didn't Biden unite when Biden won?
Yeah, but because and even if he did, the Republicans wouldn't unite under Biden because it means the Democrats are successful, and then you get more Democrats, and so you're not going to get a unification. You can't. The only time you'll get a unification is when there is a war, right? That's the only time they unite.
Hello, why don't we unite is a particularly naive approach. It kind of gives a tell that you're into European propaganda.
No, dude, I'm just saying that it would be interesting to see a candidate use that communication. Do whatever you want in the States. I just want to see if this individual, this particular personality character does exist in the United States. That's all.
They can exist, but there's no reason to do it. So, like, even if they do exist, hypothetically, let's say they do exist, why would they unite? There is no reason.
You're overemphasizing unity when philosophically there's already a unity at play, and the fact that Trump got elected is the equilibrium of that unity.
I agree with that, and also I think we have to go back to the fundamentals and the basics with the Constitution, like what we were starting. America is the world's greatest, what do they say, experiment or whatever. We got to go back to the basics.
Can I ask you something, Joe? Do you believe? I'm just asking, just to inquire. I don't know. I don't have an answer to this. Do you believe? And you can go to Adrian and Morel, whoever wants to answer this, of course. Do you believe that the Constitution should be updated, let's say, every time someone new takes office, or every 7 years, or whatever?
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, dude.
They can update it anytime they want. There are rules in there to update it. They can update it anytime they want.
Nice.
Many states have had constitutional conventions. I have the Illinois constitutional referendum, and changes to it, and it passed or it didn't pass. It's irrelevant. Listen, Trump deflects border crossers with his mere presence, his name, his election. People turn around and they say, "Oh, there's no chance now. Trump's in charge." People in the international war regime change game say, "Oh, we got to give up this scam. Trump's in charge again." Trump nullifies many problems that are persisting in society today.
I would say that this is an ideal opportunity for Trump to include something in the Constitution. If there is no confidence in the opposition, and if the party cannot nominate someone who has a proven track record, qualification greater than him, not equal, greater than him, then he should be allowed to run again for another term, a third term. And then he could pave the way for his protege, Mr. Vance. And there we have 20 years of Republic. At 20 years, we can then assess whether this was right or not. And if you want to change, have change. This is why I mentioned this.
There's a idea. There's a simple rule. You got to have 2/3 of the states. Change.
You have to look at the Constitution
as a step up to change the Constitution.
2/3
don't know if he's gonna have that.
He's never going to change it so he can run a third time.
It's very difficult.
Listen, he believes in George Washington. George Washington stepped down after 2 terms. That is the precedent. Trump is not going to change that American precedent. But you know who would? Is probably Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh, well, thanks for the Hussein joke. But listen, what about FDR?
Yeah, wartime.
What about Donald Trump? It's 2024. We're about to go into 2025. What about Donald Trump? What about Donald Trump? Let's just keep it to the now. No, let's just keep it to the now. Let's keep it to the now.
Before the rule, Miller, 2 terms. 50 years before that.
Oh, before the rule. Okay, all right.
It was merely a kind of rule.
Yeah, and you were talking about a cripple facing the last days of his life. I know you don't know American history, but people kind of loved that guy, and he was dying in a wheelchair, and he saved the world.
Well, you had a cripple in office for 4 years in Joe Biden, so I know all about American cripples in office. Don't worry.
I mean, maybe they were both criminals, most likely.
Come on, it was a good joke, Adrian. Come on, bro. Give me some credit.
The point is, I just get the feeling that, you don't like Donald Trump and you've got green eggs and ham syndrome like a lot of liberal, progressive, atheist losers.
Why don't you ask Johnny about my feelings about Trump? Why don't you try to ask Efton? Please ask them.
It's all good, man. Look, there's all different views, and our man is right now about to take control of the guy Kash Patel.
Why do you think, Adrian? I want to see 20 years of Republicans. I want to see if this could work, and if it does work, then we should extend it from 4 to at least 7 or 8. What is this 4-year bullshit?
You're making stupid statements that mean nothing. Nothing will change like that. You just keep persisting in your stupidity.
I don't know. I got a heart from Joe.
The fact.
No, I was just saying that was from Evtol when he was saying that different diversity of opinions and whatnot. That's cool. But yeah, you know what? I don't know about this whole federal government thing either. Like, I mean, the biggest thing I learned from COVID was the power of the state governments and the governors. That was like super cool, and I think that's one of the silver linings of that is that a lot of people realized the state isn't that part of the Constitution, or is that something else? Like the states should be kind of running things.
Did anybody really get an A+ rating to the COVID response? Was there any super libertarian, conservative, hero of the COVID-19 moment? I don't remember anybody standing up to the government and to Joe Biden. I don't even remember Donald Trump standing up to Joe Biden.
Where are the states' rights enshrined? That's a good question.
I think that was elucidated, illuminated by the response. I mean, what was Florida the best? I mean, was that because I'm on the East Coast, so I mean, a lot of people, they were like, "Oh man, I gotta get to Florida, man. This is like a whole game changer there." So I mean, they probably came out. Did they come out on top, Florida?
Well, that's what you're led to believe. But do you really trust Governor Santos, whatever the fuck his name is? He's a skull and bonesman. He is a skull and bonesman.
I'm Googling that. There's no way, bro.
No way. He's a skull and fucking bonesman.
He was the guy that was supposed to replace Trump, building him up to be the guy that took on Trump. And be his first.
No, he's a bonesman. You didn't know that, did you?
Adrian, I don't mean to offend. I really I don't want to really piss anyone off, but I believe sincerely that Trump will get a twinkle in his eye if I mention this idea of him.
Of course, he'd get a twinkle in his eye. If you entertain somebody's fancy, they're gonna get a twinkle in their fucking eye. What's your point?
My point is that I want to see it happen. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not anti-Trump. That's all.
2/3 of the states would have to get their twinkle on for that to work. It's just
good luck getting California to get that twinkle.
One's going to get their twinkle eye for the 2/3 of the. Also, I think 2/3 of the House members, as well as 2/3 of the states.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis is a skull and bonesman. I'll put it in the chat. You can Google it as well. It's on his Wikipedia page.
I was Googling it. I'm on Wiki, but it has a thing where it's like 1980s, 1990s people. I mean, but it did say he went to Yale, so that's.
I don't know. It's Johnny here because I want to ask his opinion on something. Actually, anyway, I can ask you guys. Do you foresee some states seceded. I don't know. Okay.
I'm sure Adrian will have it.
Why are you so sure?
I've been following the Free State Project. I think that's super cool. Big fan of that. I'm seeing some information. He may have been in Scrolls Key or Wolfhead.
Oh, Scroll and Keys or Wolf Slayer, dude.
Yeah, Scrolls Key or Wolf's Head. They're two secret. But he's not a Skull and Bones one. He refused to. Basically, in speculation, he could be one of those other secret societies. That's just one source. I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I just remember a while back looking at it when he announced he was running. I was like, oh, he must be a Skull and Bones. I looked it up. It said something about it, but I'm reading other shit now. But the point is, if you're Skull and Bones adjacent, yeah, what's the fucking difference? You're an adjacent. You're just in another super secret Yale fraternity. And it's not like there's anything wrong about, or illegal about being in a fraternity, but the problem is, secret societies and what Kennedy and Eisenhower warned against, they're really there. They're right there in the open. I mean, if you think Freemasonry is just some, pussy group not interested in American politics, you're fucking way the fuck off. All those brothers in those temples all around America, they love politics.
Oh, boy.
I mean, George Washington, Freemason. All the founding fathers, Freemason.
No, exactly. Right. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with Freemasonry. I think it's actually a very, respectable organization that does good things, and they create.
Shriners, dude. Shriners. That's a branch, right?
Yeah, that's more charitable.
Victims and stuff. Yeah, I mean, but they do a lot of.
But you got to admit, when you see a Shriners commercial and they have all these cancer babies and midget babies, and you're trying to get you to call the 800 number to get on a continuity program to help, fund doctors and nurses to keep taking care of these, midget babies with cancer, that shit pulls at your heartstrings, and you say to yourself, that's a fucking scam. That's a cancer scam. That's a doctor scam. These fuckers are paying themselves huge salaries. All these non-profit charity scams, the big ones, they're just fucking administrative expense harvesting scams.
You sound angry, Adrian.
Yeah, I'm actually great. I'm about to go to the gym in a little bit. It's a beautiful day out. I just like raging. I get my dopamine feedback filled this way.
I would use the question you asked in inverse. Why are they scared of Cash Patel? Why is Jon Stewart claiming Cash Patel's track record is a children's book?
He's just Stewart is really
going to do.
I mean, he literally said he was going to close down the FBI and turn it into a museum.
No, that was just the Hoover building. There were other people in D.C. We're going to be pushing across the country. City. He said that he was going to make FBI local policemen. Yeah, did he not say that? Or states.
I don't think
what
we
he
should
said,
rely on
he didn't say local policemen. He will tell them to go out and do their job and chase down criminals. Right? He didn't say local policemen. They are policemen because they work on domestic soil only. So they are glorified policemen, but they are policemen. And so he said he's going to shut down the Hoover building and send the 7,000 agents out into the field to do field work and arrest criminals, which is what they should be doing, arresting criminals.
But
that's what they do.
That doesn't make any sense, though. Like, there are people that work in the field. There are people that work.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that more people in the field, less bureaucracy, more actual arrests and prosecutions.
He wants G-men doing G-men things. He wants them to be knights. He wants them to be heroes. That's what he wants them to do, because that's what these fuckers are supposed to do. They're not supposed to be an internal regime change spy network of lies and propaganda.
Yeah. Doing political favor for the government in power at the time is not their role. And that's what we've seen. The politicization of the FBI, that's a very dangerous path that we're walking down right now. And he's trying to reverse that, and hopefully he can. Otherwise, anyone that comes to power is going to politicize the FBI to God knows what ends. We saw that with the Watergate affair, and we're seeing that 10 times worse now, the current state of affairs. And is that what we want? Well, I sure as hell do. Because once you start this as a precedent, it doesn't matter who's in power. Everyone's going to use that. It was done before, and the people allowed it, so we're just going to keep doing that.
No, I think the plan should be to convert more comedians who pretend to be journalists to Republicans, or at least make them neutral. Stewart, what he's doing is he's dissing on how stupid the Democrats are or were during the election, all that stuff. But really, like I don't know, you could convert him into something else. I don't understand why the Republicans
converted Rogan. He converted Rogan's good enough. Way bigger.
That's a good point, actually.
Trump is very advanced psychologically. You know, he is aggressive. During his presidency, he converted himself. Trump, throughout this whole process, it's like a metamorphosis. He is the butterfly now. He is, you know, a divine aviary. He is basically what we got. And every 4 years, we elect a new fascist leader, and we hope that they're more enlightened than the previous. But compared to Biden and Obama, Trump is sent from God. These former criminal, terrorist, narcissistic, lying criminals have degraded and destroyed this country, diluted our dollars, spent it overseas like drunken sluggards. This is going to be a great 4 years, and massive rectification has to be put in place. Justice is coming.
He converted to what, though? Let me just say that he has told Christine Welker, big guy, bug-eyed NBC lady, he told her in their interview that he's going to show mercy. He's not going to go after her to make it less. He's going to solve the problems. He's indicating that he's not going to do anything there.
There's nothing he can do because Biden's going to pardon all the criminals before he can get to them.
That was crazy, by the way. That Hunter thing was insane.
There'll be 100 more. Wait and see. Fauci and James Biden.
The Hunter thing, does that mean that he's pardoned for everything, or just what he was sentenced
for?
For?
Everything. Never seen before a blanket pardon for 11 years.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. From 2014, before he joined the board of Burisma, to
Can
this.
you imagine the uproar if Trump did that with his children before he left office? Can you imagine?
Credit to Stewart, he did mention that also, that they showed Joe saying, I will never pardon anybody. We're going to follow the rule of law. We're going to follow the rule of law. And then they just does the opposite. But I would say, I think Adrian loves Trump a lot. And I understand when we love someone, we might enter hyperbole. What I like about Trump, his ability to adapt. He's changed his sort of mindset. And he's become more likable. So I understand why people would love him more. He has this ability to change. And, this is insane, by the way. An old man willing to change for the greater good of what he believes in. That impresses me.
Careful now, because a lot of politicians change and present themselves as changing their views for the good of the people, when really they're changing their views to be elected, and then when they're in office, they do something very, very different. So time will tell, right? So
I'm talking about the demeanor. The demeanor is less aggressive, less rah-rah, more matter of fact.
Yeah, but you haven't seen him in office yet at a press conference. When he's at his press conferences and he gets attacked questions and he attacks back and he kind of degrades the reporter, that's when his toxic side comes out. And he needs to run this government from like a bunker, just issuing dictates. No more of this, cross-contamination communication. He has to be the master of the communication pipeline, as opposed to allowing all this mainstream media drama to, appear out of thin air. He has to control the communication this time around.
it'll be interesting if he does what you say and he doesn't take as many interviews, what they will say given the number of times Biden has given interviews. And they'll be like, yeah, Trump's not talking to us, but Biden never did. He did in the beginning and then he just hid from the media.
He's not controlling communication when he's talking to world leaders on his cell phone.
No, I mean, I'm talking about what the mainstream media puts out on the aggregate for the collective consciousness. He has to control the collective consciousness. He can't let ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, etc. control the collective consciousness by these interviews.
That's what Notre Dame's about. That's what this whole Notre Dame thing is about. You can see all the leaders in your right standing to attention.
What do you guys make of Elon, his new phone that he's released? I don't know if you guys touched upon this.
I haven't seen a news article about the new X phone. Are you talking about Starlink? How Starlink, you can use Starlink on your cell phone now?
He's launching, someone sent me an article, he's launching a new phone, and it's going to be way cheaper than the iPhone. The genius move by Elon.
He's controlling all the data on the planet, surely. If he manages to get Starlink, he's got your data in your cars, he's got your data in your internet, he's got your data on your phone, he's got your data from the Tesla bot, he's got the data from the chip in your head. Like, it's going to be insane with him and Palantir having that much data.
Is that what you want?
No, Barrow. No, we don't. I mean, I don't know anyone else. You guys voted for him. We didn't vote for Elon.
We're not Americans. Sorry, not Americans.
No. Look, Palantir was in Biden's pocket and Obama's pocket. I'm anti-Palantir. I'm anti-Elon Musk. So don't try and pretend that it's like, oh yeah, well, it's this reason. They're the corporations in America are they're in both pockets. Like, in fact, both parties are in their pockets. Let me rephrase.
Well, nobody's disputing that.
Exactly. So it's not like, oh, is this guy what you guys wanted? You voted for Trump, and now you got Elon. No one voted for Elon, and regardless of who came in, Elon would be Elon.
I don't
doing what Elon's doing.
I agree.
It doesn't change his agenda.
Elon has nothing compared to what Google and Meta have.
Yeah, for now, right? For now. But he's growing at such a rapid rate that he will do. He's got the foundations for it all.
He hasn't grown at a rapid rate. He bought Twitter with $40 billion. He basically bankrupted himself buying this fucking app. This guy is on edge. He's risked a lot, and he won.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he did, but my point is what he's doing, he's creating this footprint, and that's what I mean by growth. I don't mean financially. I'm talking about his...
He's more powerful because he'll be in that position. I agree with that. As long as Republicans are there, so behind Vance, behind whoever the future Republicans are, he's like...
And here's the thing. Behind Biden, there was a bunch of people that were equally as influential and powerful. Right? So it doesn't matter which party you vote for; these people are still there, and they're still.
It does matter which party you vote for. The Democrats are far worse than the Republicans 100 times over.
Adrian, but my point wasn't about their politics. My point was these people that we don't see behind the curtain are going to be there regardless of which party you vote for. I'm not talking about the party politics.
Okay, you're talking about the billionaire class.
Yeah, that regardless of who you vote for, they're still doing their thing.
Yeah, okay, so welcome to reality. What's your point?
I was responding to what Barack was saying about, well, you voted for Trump and now you've got Elon. Right? Like, whoever we voted for, Elon was going to be there, and the billionaires are still there.
No.
Well, you guys voted for a billionaire.
Elon would not be here if Kamala won. Kamala would have shut down X and deported Elon. That's a fact. He was getting ready to possibly leave the country if Trump didn't win.
You guys voted for a billionaire. That's why it sounds like... I'm not talking to you. I will say
I know I don't sound
Burroughs, what do you think of Cash Patel?
Yeah, what do you think?
Good or bad or decent? I mean, I already voiced my opinion about it. Yeah, I already. We already talked about it. What's so bad about it? Just that he's going to.
Why are you fixating on this stuff, though?
Do you see people are going to be out of a job, or all fixated on all the Indians being appointed? This was better than that.
I'm down with that. I'm down with the Indians being appointed. It's that time.
Well, it's a strategic pick. It's a strategic pick. If they don't confirm him, they're a bunch of hypocrite racists. He's well qualified to do this job. They don't want to give up the power. It's 40,000 employees spending $10 billion a month. It's a big agency, and Cash is the guy to do it. If they don't confirm him, they are all hypocrite, racist assholes.
Who's the one that's being appointed for healthcare? NIH? What's his name? Jay Bhattacharya. What's the position again? I forgot. NIH. Okay, gotcha.
Eftel, what do you think about, like, the quickest way I feel for Trump to get a Nobel Peace Prize is not through Ukraine or Israel. It's by shutting down Guantanamo by the Bay. I think if he stops Guantanamo Bay, he could say, well, Obama didn't do this. I did. This is my way of, a sort of blueprint to peace, a path towards peace, and they'll give him the Nobel Peace Prize. Of course they won't, but
he's never
going to get it. But I think this will go a long way for his legacy, Trump's legacy.
I think Matthew out of Mar-a-Lago would be a good idea.
So did you see this Dr. Neshwat, the Surgeon General? She accidentally killed her father with a gunshot to the head.
What do you mean accident?
She knocked it off a table, it discharged, and blew her father's brains out.
Accidentally.
Janet Neshwat was searching for a pair of scissors that were in a tackle box on a shelf above the bed where her father slept in their Umatilla, Florida home in February of 1990.
It's like that guy, the Paralympian Oscar Pistorius. What was his name? Pistorius? He accidentally murdered his girlfriend. Jesus.
And like, what was the Republican guy that accidentally shot someone when he was on his bike?
On the turkey.
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, accidentally shot him. I thought he was a deer.
Yeah, his dear daughter is going to have to get pardoned by Biden because she's a domestic terrorist criminal.
You wait and see. Fauci, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, they're going to get pre-pardoned.
100%.
They're
They're traitors. They should be arrested and hung.
Maybe does that. I wonder how the Democrats are going to react to something like that. They'll find a defense for it. If Trump was to do that, they would find that abominable. So I'm curious what the defense is going to be if he does. You're already seeing it with his child, and I'm sitting there going, what would happen if he...
Military tribunals, so I'm not sure if there's a defense.
That's interesting if you go down that road, but then he's not doing what he said he was going to do, which is mercy. Right? Like, that is war.
Forgive my ignorance. What happened to the whole Capitol Hill? Did Trump get convicted or something? What I forget what happened. I have no idea. I'm being genuine. Makes it seem
all charges were dropped.
Dropped. Okay. That's interesting.
The people that got arrested, were they released? But wait, the people that got arrested, did they get released? The ones that have been still held for like 4 years?
No, they've been promised a pardon on day one.
Wow, so they're still arrested. Me.
He went into detail last night in the Welker review. He said he's going to get it pretty much on day one for the people in prison.
That's going to give him a bump in the polls.
Hey, he doesn't need it.
No, I know, but it would give him a massive bump in the polls.
He'll probably have 100 orders. Some border stuff, inflation stuff.
I mean, he doesn't need any political influence. They control the House and the Senate. There's no, all he has to do is basically any policy he wants.
No, there's still going to be a bunch of Republicans that are neocons that are going to be opposing him, that hate him. Lindsey Graham hates him. There's a bunch of them that still hate him.
A woman hates Trump? You don't say.
Lindsey Graham. not Liz Cheney.
This is where it's interesting. You just put the cash out there. This is where he comes in as a good player. Because FBI is
Lindsay's a guy's name?
Yeah, the Senator Neocon. Name was Lindsey Graham.
Okay.
This is where having separation from Trump, he can just shrug his shoulders, let the FBI do their job, and whatever happens, happens. Not in his hand. And everyone.
I had a guy named Susan from Nepal, so I guess Americans have Lindsay. Lindsay's a woman's name, though, generally speaking.
Do stop fixating on women.
No, the name Lindsay is. I would never assume a guy named Lindsay. That's weird.
Their main name Ashley. Lindsay is also one of those names that's in the sucks.
Ashley.
Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham was famous. It's a native name. Lindsey Buckingham's a true man.
Well, the Kim thing's a bit different, but.
What do you think
What's
about?
your favorite Lindsey Buckingham song? Is that what we're talking about? The guitars?
This is an example of a good guy who never gets questioned on his name.
What do you think about right-sizing the government? You know, in Trump's 4 years, can he right-size the government?
Never going down again. What's it called? Never going back again.
Oh, that one? That one?
Yeah, he does. Well, not the Fleetwood Mac style.
Right. No. But the one where he's, I'll post it in the chat. It's unbelievable. He does some, I don't know if he invented a special technique for it. And also, of course, you got to throw in the, what's the National Lampoon's one? That one's I didn't realize he did that until fairly recently, a few years ago. It's a great one. I just watched Uncle Buck again with, I didn't know John Hughes did all those movies. Home Alone, Uncle Buck, all those John Hughes, man. And it's a shame. He died when he was, 50-something? Anyway, John Hughes, yeah. We need more directors like that. Great movies.
Good luck.
I think we need less superhero, more 70s, 80s.
No way.
70s most.
Ultron was incredible. The Thanos movies were incredible. Those were really groundbreaking movies. But the whole Thanos thing was right before COVID. And it was like the ultimate signal to say, hey, we're about to wipe out half of humanity.
I mean, I stopped the Marvel at Endgame. I didn't continue with the other side. I don't know if it was fatigue or I was just, this is too much. And Batman needs to be retired. Enough with Joker.
I put a link in the chat. Go to usdebtcollect.org. Look at the true financial projections and the current balance sheet of the United States government, and you'll realize that if Trump doesn't right-size this government, there will be no Social Security. There will be no pension payments. There's there's trillions and trillions of dollars in unfunded pension liabilities. This government has sold a lie to its own people. We are not on the edge of fiscal insolvency. We are insolvent every day in every way. We continue lying to ourselves.
What do you guys think of just ditching the stock market altogether?
If it crashes, real estate will crash. If real estate, real estate is always dependent on the stock market crashing first. The 2008 stock market crash precipitated the 2008 real estate collapse.
My theory is if we no longer have this reliance on trading, like this casino thing, I think more people would develop businesses, right? And that would stimulate the economy in the long run, be much more sustainable. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, get the IRS out of your fucking back pocket as a silent business partner. They don't put up anything for your investment, then they want a 40% cut day number one, quarter number one. We're living in a horribly controlled situation where we need absolute freedom. We need more independent liberty, and the tax code has to be completely simplified. Fucking one-page tax sheet. That's it. No 60,000 pages of microprint for figuring out how to pay your government.
No, I completely agree, and it's not really. It's a system thing. It's a system.
Listen, the government, the greatest right any government can afford any U.S. citizen is to leave them the fuck alone. Everything outside of that is a violation of our Constitution. We need pocket constitutions, 38 magnums, fully loaded. We don't need our Marines, our Air Force, our Navy, our Army doing regime change operations in other countries. Bring all the soldiers back, bring all the equipment back, put it on the border, secure the country, and tell the Federal Reserve you're no longer doing business with the U.S. government. Sorry.
So, Adrian, at what age do you think we should teach people how to fire guns?
Probably 18, 21. I mean, 17 maybe, because, you know, you need soldiers who are 17, 18. So it's probably a good time to teach them how to properly maintain and shoot a firearm. It should technically be like a graduation gift probably after college. Your government should probably give you a Smith & Wesson. Eighth graders?
In France, they raised the age of consent in 2020 from 13 to 15. Italy is 14. I wonder why is pedophilia legalized? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think at 15 is the right age for someone to learn how to assemble a gun, clean a gun, maybe take a few shots. And by 18, it's second nature. You want them ready by 18, not training anything.
Well, I don't know if the government should be in the business of training its citizens on how to fire, you know, weapons unless they're involved in the military or, you know, law enforcement.
My thinking is that when you're young, basically the newness, like something that is new, is exciting. Once it's no longer new, there's no longer an itch to do it. So we want to remove the itch. This way, people would say, "Okay, this is an option." It's like a nuclear bomb. You know, once you have it, you maybe have that itch to drop it in Japan. But after that, it's been around for a while. We don't need to use it.
Yeah, it's like alcohol consumption in countries that don't prohibit till 21. You know, I used to be in the Army, and I was with a guy from Puerto Rico, and we were out at some nightclub, and he's like, "Oh man, this is great." And he's like, "I've been going out drinking since I was 16. I was like, 16? He's like, "Yeah, in Puerto Rico, you only got to be 18 to go out and drink. So people start drinking even younger. 16, 17, we start going out and raging."
Yeah, so that's just.
Listen, the biggest threat to American independence, liberty, justice is Trump's assassination. And there's a very likely chance that there's another attack on Trump. And if, you know, the deep state is lucky, they'll make a hit and they will change the destiny of America, and they will prevent themselves from possibly being, you know, arrested. I mean, what do you know about the two former assassins who tried to take out Trump? Do we know anything about Michael Crooks, who was behind any of that? You know, the Republicans in these congressional hearings are getting in shouting matches with the head of the Secret Service. You know, on day number one, Trump, it has to be retribution. He has to take a butcher's knife, cut the giant flabs of flesh and bone, and take the tray from the waist and throw it off the fucking ship.
What was that, Johnny?
Adrian should take his ass.
No.
Damn,
I'm eating cashews, drinking a little beer with an orange juice. Is it okay for a patriotic American to have a little emotional, you know, attachment to his Constitution and to our God-given rights, which have been stripped away from us?
Back a little bit, because what about let's be an optimist? Because it is like, here's the thing about that: aren't we ceding power by going down that logic train that you took us on there? Aren't we ceding power to those higher people? Like, that's why, going back to the state rights and the local rights, I feel like the power lies within the people. And by saying that, which I'm not disagreeing with, but then we're giving the power to them, right?
No, I think that the internet can save us hundreds of billions of dollars a year. The Department of Education, fucking gone. National Security Administration, fucking gone. CIA, fucking gone. Bye-bye. Everybody's fired. That's what has to happen. The country's broke. The country's in debt. Total reformulation of the theory has to be put into play. That means stopping the current theory completely, creating a new equation, a new pipeline, a new power vacuum has to be put into place. All this shit has to end. The country's broke beyond belief. We can't spend another fucking dollar on anything until this fucking spending splurge ends. It's a scam. It's a fraud. They're ruining your future. Your children will have no future. You will be a debt slave to your government for the rest of your fucking life. I want a surplus, and I want a surplus now. I am complete.
So, before you complete, I have to ask about this pure orange juice. Is it mixed together or is it separate? I think it's a valid question.
I think Elon counted and 428 federal agencies or departments. And I think in his opinion, 99 should be enough.
I don't get a hello beer. You should say, oh, hello, hello is here.
Hey, Milo. I've been here all the time. Listening to Buffalo.
Like the beer with a beer?
No, I stopped drinking 12 years ago. Good.
Oh, by the way, what's this law? You're Milo and now you're like French?
Yeah, I was in the French room. It was a woman's birthday, and she changed her name to La Vertu. And her friends were making fun of her. And to support her on her birthday, I went Lamel, so they could shut the fuck up.
Nicely done.
Thank you, sir. So I've got Lamello now for 2 weeks, but I did. People are liking Lamello. I should just say the less
Yeah, and don't let Bill Clinton confuse you with anything he says. He is one of the reasons we have a problem in this country, because there are no patriotic leaders. We just get these criminals who get put into power every single year that continue to deplete our reserves, steal our assets, and send them overseas, send them into international offshore tax basins. Trump can right this ship, but he has to do it with incredible courage, incredible fortitude, incredible strength. They will try to kill him again.
Are you against free trade and the free movement of capital?
No.
Then why would you be against offshoring and sending assets overseas?
Because the military-industrial complex is stripping the taxpayers' money out of their pockets by forcing us to borrow to do international regime change operations.
None of what you said made sense.
And nothing you say makes sense either.
It's all this, secret cabal. And the secret cabal just wants to destroy America.
Wait, it's not so secret. Yeah. What about did you know? Everyone here has to be familiar with Harari, right? It's not secret. So, and I just found out maybe
Harari is like a